This week on the Analog Circle podcast, GTA 6 is still on track to release on November 19th. Final Fantasy going forward will no longer be time exclusive. Yeah, we got some information on that. Nintendo hits a huge milestone, and I do mean huge. Man, oh man, it can change a couple of things. And Borderlands 4, the development for the Nintendo Switch 2, seems to be put on pause at the moment. But all of these stories can be found here and many more in episode 271 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Keon Mitchell, and welcome to the show. Come on in and sit down and relax, because we're going to have a great conversation today. And if you're traveling, then hopefully we can accompany you to your destination. Now, with that being said, guys, if you want to be a part of listener feedback, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 667-284-9057 and let your voice literally be heard. Or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the name of the show. It is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. So this week I want to get things started just a little different, and I think this is going to be the format moving forward. So instead of asking you guys the question of the week at the end of the show, how about we start the show with the question of the week? Because I feel like that format of having it be at the back end is a little played and dated. So the question that I have for you guys this week is, will the next gen Xbox flop? Now, the reason why I'm asking this is because there was actually a real life report that actually came out today from AMD. Now, this was during their fourth quarter 2025 earnings call when CEO Lisa Su said, and I quote, "Development of Microsoft's next-gen Xbox featuring an AMD semi-custom SoC is progressing well to support a launch in 2027. 2027. Now, I was under the impression that PlayStation now, of course, Microsoft hasn't come out and said anything officially. Sarah Bond hasn't come out and said anything officially. This is coming from AMD. But my thought on this is, this would change the landscape of everything moving forward when it comes to PlayStation. Now, we heard just last week that PlayStation is midway through the PlayStation 5's life cycle, which means it would put it on track for the next one to release around 2030. But if you're talking about Xbox is going to get out there, and according again to AMD, to their CEO, her name again, what's her name again? Lisa Su. She's saying that by 2027, the next Xbox is going to be released. So that would mean that PlayStation, I can't imagine that they would let Xbox get that leg up on them. Now, they do have the Pro, and the PlayStation 5 Pro, come on, man. It's doing amazing work out there. The PlayStation 5 Pro is out here doing some crazy things, and I only say that because when you're talking about a game, I know I'm going to repeat myself here, but a game like Resident Evil 9 having the potential to run at 120 frames per second, 90 frames per second being realistic with ray tracing turned off, with that kind of graphical fidelity, that is huge. So I just can't imagine how much better the next Xbox would be. But again, I don't think that PlayStation would give those guys a 3-year head start. Now, my thinking is this. The reason why I'm asking, will this next Xbox flop? I'm thinking of it from this standpoint. Xbox is almost a non-factor. All of their games come over to PlayStation. The games are coming over to Nintendo. Fable is going to be officially released on the PlayStation 5 day and date with the Xbox version. So it's giving less and less incentive to go out there and pick up a Xbox. So they do have that in their back pocket. PlayStation's exclusives are not going over to Xbox, not the Uncharted's, not the God of Wars, not The Last of Us. None of their staple titles have even remotely looked like they were going to touch a Xbox. So from that standpoint, I still think that the Xbox is going to flop. This generation, the Xbox has flopped miserably. Miserably. It has absolutely done nothing special at all. This entire generation, yes, they've come out with a couple of games. They got some heaters that are coming out that I'm looking forward to. Gears of War E-Day, Fable, definitely two of my most anticipated games this year, if Gears does come out. But the thing is, I can get them on PlayStation. So I think, again, even if the next Xbox releases next year, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that the next Xbox is going to flop? Or do you think that this is going to be their chance to actually get back into the fight, socket the PlayStation, give these guys a hard time at the office? I think not. But again, as always, I want to hear from you. And you can reach us again at the phone number 667-284-9057 to be a part of the conversation, or email the show. And the email address is theanalogcirclepodcast@gmail.com. Let me know your thoughts. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into what we all come here for. And that is no doubt the gaming news that went down. So let's get things started with a little bit of Nintendo news. And I must say, I got to tell you guys, these jokers is out there getting some dough.
Show me the money.
So these jokers have hit a heck of a milestone. So Nintendo has confirmed that the original Switch has now sold over 155.37 million units, making it the best-selling Nintendo system ever, beating out the Nintendo DS. God! Whoa! That is huge numbers. Now, if you weren't familiar, the Nintendo DS then maxed out at around 154.02 million units. Now, the thing is, there is one final boss that Nintendo could take out and break a complete record that has stood for decades. And that is the PlayStation 2. Nobody has hit that sweet spot of 160 million, which is where PS2 is. Matter of fact, to be exact on the button, PS2 has sold 160.63 million units to date. Now, that's the last number, and they are just a little shy of 5 million units of actually, at least bare minimum, almost tying that record. Do you guys think, do you think that Nintendo could topple the king out there, the PlayStation 2, who has stood at the top of the mountain for a very, very long time? I got to tell you, if you would ask me this question just about a year ago, even a couple of months ago, I would have said that it is no way that the Nintendo Switch even remotely comes close to even getting in the same stratosphere as the PlayStation 2, but yet here we are. They are around just slightly over 5 million units behind. And I got to say, I don't see them completely slowing down on the Nintendo Switch. I think that they're going to keep it around for a little while longer. That price, though, that price is still very expensive. So they definitely have that going against them. I don't know how well that's going to work out for them per se, but I will say that nonetheless, I think they got a chance. I think they could definitely make a run at it, but we shall see. Matter of fact, speaking about the money, oh man, Metroid, the latest Metroid, that joint, it flopped.
Move this man!
That joker flopped. It sold 1 million copies. Now we know that for Nintendo, that isn't even remotely enough when you have something like Mario Kart selling 40 and 50 million copies. It's insane. It didn't make the numbers, didn't make the marks. And unfortunately, I tell you, I don't know what that means for the Metroid franchise as a whole. Me, as a Metroid fan, I'm not a fan of the 3D stuff. I'm more of a fan of Metroid when it's 2D. That Metroid that they came out with on the Switch, oh man, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, let me be honest with y'all. Now, I have the game, but I haven't beat it. I haven't even played it. It's still in the wrapper. I haven't doggone beat the game yet. I played the demo.
Y'all killing me with this.
Yeah. I didn't even play the full game yet. It's still in the wrapper, but you know I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it. That demo was solid though. That demo was real good. So I'm hoping that, look, maybe they'll just sidestep off of the 3D Metroids, maybe concentrate on the 2D joints, because I didn't hear about the 2D Metroid actually flopping. What was the name of that joint? Hold on. You know what? Let's look it up. Let's look this up. What was the name of the 2D Metroid game that released on the Nintendo Switch, and how many copies did it sell? It's finding it. Here we go.
Released on the Nintendo Switch is Metroid Dread. It was a massive success for both Nintendo and the developers at Mercury Steam, officially becoming the best-selling game in the entire Metroid franchise.
Look at
Sales
that.
breakdown. As of the most recent data in early 2026, Metroid Dread has sold over 3 million copies worldwide.
God, dog.
Show me the money.
That's all you need to understand. Nintendo, we want the 2D Metroid. We want, the masses have spoken. It's over 3 million copies sold. Here it is. You got the new Metroid in 3D, and this joker didn't even barely sniff 1 million. And I don't want to hear that excuse, oh man, the Nintendo Switch 2 didn't have enough users. That is BS. Matter of fact, I think the Switch 2 is up to about 20-something million or 17 million units. How many?
It surpassed the previous.
Let me pause that. How many Switch 2s have sold thus far? Nah, that said that wrong. How many Nintendo Switch 2s have sold so far? It still said it wrong.
As of the latest official financial report released on February 3rd,
Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. The Nintendo Switch 2, I believe it is sold about 17 million. How many Switch 2s? And pardon me, y'all, I hate it when people do this on their show. But I want to make sure I get these numbers correct so I'm not telling y'all the wrong thing. Switch 2s have sold. That way we can have an idea of how many units are actually out there, because everybody wants to say that it didn't sell as many because it didn't have enough users. I doubt that. Okay, 17.37 million units worldwide. And you sold a doggone million. 1 million. And that's all you could sell? My God.
You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok. This is what he does.
It ain't no excuse. 0. We want the 2D Metroid. End of story. But anyway, I've spent enough time on this. Let's go ahead, guys. By the way, shout out to Nintendo, too. That's amazing numbers. Absolutely amazing. I'm not going to say you deserved it. Well, you deserved it because you sold it. Y'all know Nintendo been tripping lately on their prices and whatnot. I'm still a little upset about the Switch having to go back up in price. But everybody's gone back up in price. The PlayStation 5, Xbox is on crack cocaine when it comes to their pricing. That is $700? $700? Oh, wait. Yeah, that's a lot going on. That's a lot happening. Anyway, let's go ahead, guys, and let's move on into the next story that I got from IGN. So we have some pretty positive GTA 6 info. Now, this time it's coming from Take-Two themselves, courtesy of their Q3 2026 earnings meeting. I tell you, these earnings meetings, man, we definitely get a couple of crumbs and small pieces of info to get you a little excited. And again, this was no exception. So as it stands, GTA 6 is still planned to release on November 19th, 2026. Now, that's great news in itself, because I was happy to hear that, because we've been hearing, it could be delayed until next year, and all of these other stories about the game possibly not making it this year. But the thing that actually took it a step further, that got me even more excited, was the fact that Take-Two told IGN this. He said, quote, led by the November 19th release of Grand Theft Auto 6, with Rockstar's launch marketing set to begin this summer. End of quote. So that means that not only have they reaffirmed that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be releasing this year, but they're going to start their campaign to rev the engine up for GTA 6 like it needs any more revving. Everybody is excited about this game. Everybody. But they're going to make sure that they put their marketing plan into full motion over the summer. Now, we know that, unfortunately, E3 is no longer a thing. The only thing that we have to look forward to, and I got to shout them out, Xbox, they always show up. During that E3 season, they always put on a show. I know I give them a hard time, but I got to give them credit where the credit is due. Those guys put on every single year. We can't say the same for PlayStation. PlayStation is a bit of a hit and miss with that kind of thing, during the E3 week. But the thing is that Jeff Keighley, his show is out there. The question would be, would Rockstar actually... Now, I was going to say, would they show up on Xbox's stage, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that they're going to probably play their hand a little closer with PlayStation this time, because PlayStation is the leader in the clubhouse by a long shot. And they also have the PlayStation 5 Pro, where they will be able to show off much more of what the game is capable of. Sure, possibly 60 frames per second, 4K textures, resolution, things of that nature, ray tracing. I'm just waiting to see what this update does, with the PSSR 2.0. And shout out to AB. He actually was telling me that he thinks that during the PlayStation's State of Play that they may touch on this, during the show. Now, of course, we don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I do believe that if it is supposed to be releasing sometime in March, then I think that the timeline would line up for them to have it in their best interest to actually make it so we get an idea of what this thing is going to be able to do, because of course Sony wants to sell as many PlayStation 5 Pros as they can, and what better way to advertise that you need to upgrade to the Pro than to show off what it's actually capable of doing during their show. So we'll see what happens with that, but nonetheless, Jeff Keighley, I don't know if he has enough. I mean, Jeff Keighley is the guy. You know, he has more than enough cachet to get Rockstar to show off GTA 6. But the thing is Rockstar doesn't need anybody. They don't need anybody. They stand on their own 2 feet. They're their own entity, as it were. They're their own hype machine. So I would think that maybe sometime during the summer on a random Tuesday or Wednesday or something, some odd day, they're going to drop a trailer, maybe gameplay or something like that, sometime in June or July, just to get us excited about it. So at least we have a timeline on when we should start seeing something new, or at least possibly a gameplay trailer of Grand Theft Auto 6, or breaking down the 2 characters, Jason and, of course, I'm going to forget her name as it stands right now, but breaking down those 2 characters and what they're capable of doing. So I think that is great news. I think that, hopefully Strauss Zelnick and his team are actually committed to this date, because we've heard Strauss Zelnick say that he's confident about Grand Theft Auto 6 releasing before, and it never happened. So hopefully with this marketing push happening in the summer, this is definite confirmation that it will be releasing this year. But the other thing that I wanted to say is, as it stands right now to date, Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold over 225 million units and has bought in $1.76 billion for the quarter. $1.76 billion for the doggone quarter. That is crazy.
What you talking about, Roots?
That is absolutely bananas. They made over $1 billion, almost $2 billion in a quarter. So the thing is, thinking about it from that standpoint, thinking about it from that perspective, this is going to be so interesting to see how this game actually comes out. This is probably the first game, when we think about the stats of other studios and their timelines and their budgets, this may be the first game that has had an unlimited budget. We've been hearing reports that this game is going to reach over $1 billion spent on the development. I don't think any developer has remotely even whiffed those kind of numbers. So you're talking about having, at that point in time, absolutely unlimited resources at your disposal, a development cycle that is however long you need it to be. There is no restraint. I think that this game, GTA 6, having the budget and having the time that it has had, this game should not come out with any bugs. Any bugs. Because if you've had all of this time to do this, to do the development and, be able to play through it and do all of the things that you need to do to make sure that the game is in a great running state, I think that bare minimum, it should definitely come out with 0 bugs. Maybe I'm being extra. No, I'm going to stand on that hill. I'm standing on that. No bugs when the game releases. If it does, it automatically should get docked 2 points. 2 off the gate. But we'll see what happens with this. I'm very excited about it. I just can't wait to see what they're going to be able to come up with that kind of alleged budget and, this time frame that they've had. Matter of fact, I want to know what's the most expensive game that was made. what is the most expensive video game that has been made? Because I want to know what the budget is.
As of February 2026, the title for the most expensive video game ever made is a toss-up between a legendary Phantom project and an upcoming blockbuster that is breaking every entertainment record in history.
What's
1.
that?
The projected heavyweight Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh my God.
While not yet released, Grand Theft Auto 6 is widely reported by industry insiders to be the most expensive entertainment project of all time.
Okay.
Total budget? Rumored to be between $1 billion and $2 billion. Why it's so high? This budget covers over a decade of development since 2014, a massive global marketing campaign, and the creation of a live service infrastructure for the next version of GTA Online. Comparison. Even at the low end, $1 billion, it costs more than the production budgets of Avatar, Avengers Endgame, and Star Wars The Force Awakens combined. 2.
God darn! Goodness gracious, man. Are you freaking kidding me? Darn! That's outrageous. That is doggone outrageous. So they said Star Citizen has surpassed 1 billion. That looks like that's the second game. But Star Citizen never really came out. Thing's been in beta since 1924. But we'll see. Anyway, let's go on, guys, and let's move into the next story. $1 to $2 billion. Yeah, that game needs to come out flawless. Am I right about that? Or do you guys think that I'm being a little too, as it were, a little too extra in my hopes of what the game should be at launch? I would love to know your thoughts. But let's get into the next. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before we get into the next story, did you guys know, I just found this out over the weekend. Did you guys know that Reanimal by Tarsier, that developer, has a demo up right now? They actually have a real life demo up of the game, and it is so doggone good. I was loving it. This game is going to be amazing. Oh my God. Oh man, if you guys did not know, this Reanimal demo, as far as the date goes, this thing has been available since November. Am I the only one who did not know that this game had a demo? I'm sitting up there, I'm reading up on some gaming news, and you guys know I'm looking forward to Reanimal. I'm like, I can't wait to get my hands on this. I beat, Little Nightmares 1 and 2. Loved those games. So, Tarsier, I'm excited. Next thing I know, I'm reading up on it, and it's like, yes, the demo is out right now. I'm like, what? Nah, that's the PC version. I remember the PC version came out months ago as far as the demo went, not on the console. I said, you know what, man, I'm just going to look. Went through the PlayStation 5, went to the demo section, had to scroll over a couple of times, and there it was, Reanimal. So if you guys didn't know about the demo, y'all got to tell me. Somebody has to tell me that they knew or didn't know that this demo was live, and it was live since November. I got to tell y'all, it looks like Tarsier has really stepped their game up. The lighting, the graphics, the gameplay. Man, this joint is fire. So far, it is so good. I've been playing it, just the atmosphere, and I had on my PlayStation headphones. Woo, brother. Brothers and sisters, I was literally looking around my room. I'm looking up. The sound is so clean in this game. So clean through the Pulse Elites. I was looking around. I'm hearing like little thumps and bangs of metal. And I'm like, oh, shucks. Just kind of looking around because I like to play my games in the dark. Whether it's a horror game or just a regular game, I like playing and experiencing all of my games in the darkest environment possible. And I tell you, this game looks so not just looks, but it feels so promising. I know that a lot of people thought that Little Nightmares 3 kind of let us down. I didn't get a chance to play Little Nightmares 3, not the full game. I played the demo. I liked the demo from what they had up, but of course that wasn't by Tarsier. That was Supermassive that actually took over with that game, and a lot of people didn't think it had that magic, that Little Nightmares magic, that the franchise has been known for. But again, that's because Tarsier wasn't working on it. They were working on Reanimal, and when you play Reanimal, you feel that. You feel that tension. You feel that atmosphere. You feel that thing that Tarsier is so good at. Even the storytelling. I mean, they have upped their game, seems like, in every category. Even the storytelling is like, man, it could be very promising. I don't want to ruin the surprise on what they do in this game that they haven't done in the previous two entries, Little Nightmares 1 and 2. But they took a real big step up, in my opinion, with their storytelling. And you would have to play the demo to get, to understand what I'm saying, and have played the previous two games. So this one right here, for anybody that is looking for that Tarsier feel, looking to get that feeling back of that nostalgic feeling of what Little Nightmares was about, and the mystery in the world, and the different characters and enemies. This game feels so much like a Little Nightmares game, but just like a different part of the Little Nightmares world. And that's the thing that I really loved about this demo. Yes, this is a totally different IP, but it still feels like it's taking place in the Little Nightmares universe. Definitely, please check out this demo and let me know your thoughts after you play it. But guys, let's go ahead though, just for the sake of time, let's move on into the next story. Matter of fact, just going back, you know what, hold on. I can't even get to the next story. But just taking a step back, just to Rockstar, just for a moment. Now, I know we heard of, that rumored digital only release, because Rockstar doesn't want any story leaks and any of that stuff. Now, for me, I was a little baffled by that. So I think that it's only right that I kind of clarify what I meant, in the last episode. I'm saying to myself, how is a physical release of the game versus digital gonna leak the story? Well, I didn't think about it from this perspective, and I can't take credit for it. I was actually listening to ILP, shout out to those brothers, and Solve. He actually brought up a point where he was talking about the smaller dealers, not your GameStops, but your mom and pop gaming shops, how they sometimes break street date, where they'll get the game in early and, hey, look, for about $120, I know the game is $70, but if you throw me an extra $40-$50, I go ahead and I give it to you a little early, couple days early. I'm thinking that from that perspective, I'm like, that would make sense, that if these smaller shops, and that's the thing, I don't really see too many of those here in Baltimore. I don't really see any of them. The only smaller shop I can remember was Power Gamer back in the day, and that was at Ricerstown Mall. Some of y'all from the Baltimore area might know what I'm talking about. They used to get all kinds of imports in. It was where I bought the Dreamcast like 7 or 8 months before it actually released here in the States officially. They were selling it, and I was able to pick it up from them back in like 99. I got it. So, but that was like one of the few mom and pop shops I've seen. I haven't seen any lately, so my mind never even thought to even go that route. So again, shouting out to Saul for him, actually kind of breaking that down and saying that it could be because they don't want the smaller places to actually get it out there early. And all of a sudden, the story is swirling around. People are finally figuring out what's going on, and it could ruin the game. Now, in my opinion, I know that happened during The Last of Us Part 2, and the story actually got kind of blown out of proportion to a certain degree. Yes, the events actually did happen, but in the way that they happened, it was a little different. It was a different story that was told versus how it actually happened inside of the game. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with this. I'm still looking forward to it. And obviously this story must mean a lot to Rockstar that they're going to, hold on. You know what? No, actually, I think during that meeting, that Take-Two meeting, they actually did, what am I even talking about? They confirmed that no, the physical release is coming out. It's coming out day and date with the game. So, well, you know what? Hold on. Let's just be on the safe side. Be on the safe side. The physical release of Grand Theft Auto 6, will it be releasing the same day? It's saying Grand Theft Auto 5.
As of February 4th, 2026, the news you're looking for is fresh off the presses. Grand Theft Auto 6, GTA 6, is officially confirmed for a physical release on day one.
There we go. So, yeah, that kind of went by the wayside. I just wasted like 10 minutes of y'all time. My apologies for that. So, with that being said, shucks, I think I need to get on. Yeah, I got to get the heck up out of this story. My bad. Let's move on. Yeah, buddy. That was my bad. But let's get into the next story now. This is from Softonic, pardon me. This is just some quick Final Fantasy news. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth director Mr. Hamaguchi, he confirmed that Final Fantasy Remake Part 3 will be released simultaneously on multiple platforms. So pretty much that means no more timed exclusivity for any platform. So whether it's Steam Deck, ROG Ally, PS5, Switch, Xbox, all of their games are going to be coming out, especially Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 will be coming out on every platform. And I do remember, guys, inside of that article, he did mention that he wants their reach to be further. He wants to make sure that they're reaching as many players as possible. So from that standpoint, it makes it sound like these guys are done with the exclusives. They're trying to get everybody as quickly as possible, bring as many people into the fold as they can on day one, because having these fragmented releases can be bad for business. Now, granted, I don't know how well Final Fantasy VII Remake, is selling on the Switch 2 or the Xbox series, but I'm sure that they're getting a couple of sales. I mean, who's to say? But then again, the sales could have possibly been different if it actually came out on the consoles on day one. But we know that was a PlayStation exclusive for quite a few years. I remember getting that game during COVID back in 2020. I picked up Final Fantasy VII Remake from Best Buy, and it said it was exclusive until April, had a sticker on the front. It was supposed to have been exclusive until April of 2021, I believe, if my memory is serving me correctly. It took until this year, almost 5 years later, for that game to actually appear. Almost 6 years. What am I talking about? 2020. Almost 6 years later, it took for it to actually come out on other platforms. So I think that Hamaguchi and, the guys over there, Square Enix, they kind of finished with that exclusivity situation. Of course, gaming has changed so much. The gaming landscape is totally different than what it used to be. I mean, again, you got Xbox putting their games on PlayStation right now. So cats are having fun with dogs. They're having a ball with each other. Stuff is just cross-wired around this joint. I don't know what's going on, but we'll see what happens with this in the future with all of the different Final Fantasy games and Square Enix games as they release. But let's get into the next story. I also got this one from Soft Tonic as well. Y'all remember, I'm doing a lot of backtracking on this episode, but do y'all remember last week we went over some Bloober Team information that stated the team would be having an event sometime this month to reveal their next title, which many people thought would be a remake of a game called Rule of Rose. Now, I had never heard of this game before, but Bloober Team, they actually came out. Well, the CEO of Bloober Team came out. His name is, I can't even pronounce this brother's name, maybe Piotr, spelled Piotr, Piotr. His last name is Babino, spelled Babieno, Babino. Pardon me if I'm saying your name wrong, brother. It's no offense. But he said this about this rumor about the game actually being a remake of Rule of Rose. He said, quote, "Good guess, but no," end of quote. So that's great news for me because I had no idea what Rule of Rose was. Some people said it was a cult classic. I've never heard of it. So for me, it kind of put more of an interest in my mind as to, okay, cool, it's not this game. I wonder what game it could be. So I definitely look forward to this event now more than ever, knowing that that's not the game that they're going to be remaking, which is great for me. I believe it was something else I wanted to talk to you guys about. Mind's Eye. I don't know if you guys took a chance on that game. I know that game had a lot of hype behind it, mainly because it had one of the original Grand Theft Auto guys. I think his name was Leslie Benzio. I can't quite remember his name, but he was with Rockstar for quite a few years. And it was like people were very excited about this game because he was behind it. Well, we know that the game did not come out to the best reviews. It was pretty bad. It was rated as one of the lowest scoring games last year. And I'm not going to go for the whole generation. I don't think it was that low, but it was pretty low. But it seems like Build a Rocket Boy, they are not giving up on the game. Of course, that's the development team. They said that they are working on a major update for the game. They're going to, the CEO, he said, "We've listened, we've moved quickly." Now, the name of their CEO is Mark Gerard. He said this about the update. He said, quote, we've moved quickly, and we're continuing to refine performance, make continuous improvements, and deliver substantial combat and gameplay enhancements. New content is in development, and we're committed to steady, meaningful progress. Our core focus remains on delivering the mind's eye experience we always envisioned and the one our players deserve. End of quote. So inside of these notes, they were talking about different missions, on how they're going to give you different markers to really show the position that you're supposed to be in to actually make it from point A to point B. They're supposed to be doing some balancing acts when it comes to your energy level, your energy bar, when it comes to different levels of kind of evening the playing field versus the enemies, where it seemed like some of these missions, they were almost impossible to beat because they were just hard, very, very hard. And my gosh, I have definitely went through that quite a few times with different games where it's like, man, I got this thing on easy mode and it's still very hard. Because sometimes you just want to get through the game. Y'all know my motto. I play games for fun, not for struggle. That is not what I'm there for. I'm here to play, have a good time, and enjoy myself. So, yeah, I'll bump a game down to easy in a heartbeat, just to feel like, oh, man, I'm having a good time. So it seems like that was definitely a problem with the game at one point in time, and they're trying to make sure that they're able to correct those different problems. So hopefully it's not too late for Mind's Eye. It seems like they're kind of doing something similar to what Ubisoft did with Star Wars Outlaws. Now, granted, when I originally played Outlaws, I thought it was fantastic. I didn't think it was anything wrong with the game. A lot of people had problems with the game, saying it was an instant mission fail. And, you know, once you got noticed by the people, the mission was over. I'm like, well, didn't really bother me too much. But I can say that by them doing those updates that they did do, it did actually make the game a lot better. I can definitely say that. Looking back in retrospect, it definitely helped the game to be a lot better. So, you know, hopefully, again, they'll kind of reach that point, you know, with Mind's Eye and make it the game that, again, that they wanted it to be from the start. So we shall see. The last thing I wanted to let you guys know before we wrap it up this week is Nintendo. They are having a show tomorrow. Let me see if I can find it for y'all. It's going to be happening tomorrow. When is Nintendo's next Direct and what time is it? Let's see what we got. I know it's tomorrow. I just don't know the time.
The next Nintendo Direct is happening tomorrow, February 5th, 2026. It has been officially confirmed as a Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase E, which means the focus will be on third-party games from Nintendo's partners rather than first-party titles like Mario or Zelda.
There we go. So it looks like it's going to be, if you're on the East Coast like myself, it's going to be 9 o'clock in the morning. 9 a.m. I'm going to be at work. I might be able to listen to it while I'm in upstate, though. 9 o'clock. So, yeah, over on the East Coast, it's going to be 9 o'clock a.m. If you're on Pacific time, that's going to be 6 a.m. and so on and so on. So, yeah, again, it's not going to be Nintendo showing off first party. It's going to be, you know, third party showing up with their games. Oh, and that actually reminded me about Borderlands. They said Borderlands actually has been put on pause right now. Can I find the story for that? Yeah, Borderlands 4 for the Switch 2. Take-Two spokesperson came out and said, quote, "We made the difficult decision to pause development on that SKU. Our focus continues to be delivering quality post-launch content for players and the ongoing improvements to optimize the doggone game." God darn. Yeah, Nintendo, I don't know about that one, brother. Y'all might not be getting that one. Oh, shucks. Joker said, look, man, we got to put the brakes on that one. Now, granted, I don't know if it's because the Nintendo Switch 2 isn't powerful enough to actually handle it. I kind of doubt that. I'm not going to put that out there. But for whatever reason, the development has been paused indefinitely. So it's no telling when this game is going to come out. I thought it was supposed to come out later on this month. But according to, again, a spokesperson over at Take-Two, they had to put the pause action on this game. But anyway, that is the end of the gaming news this week. I want to truly, truly thank you guys for being here. Shout out to all of you guys that always come through and show support, because I got to tell y'all, if it wasn't for y'all coming through, I would not be doing the show. So again, thank y'all so, so much for everything. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. So with that being said, as always, if you want to be a part of the show, you know you guys can always call in at 667 to be a part of the conversation, 667-284-9057, or you can email the show, and the email address is simply the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I was your host, Keon Mitchell, and again, thank you guys for being here. And before we wrap this thing up, tie it up and put a bow on it, always remember one thing. It is not about the consoles. It is about the game. So depending on y'all, maybe we'll have another episode coming up of listener feedback, but that depends on you. So with that being said, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.